Sight by Carolyn Crimmy. Illustrated by Daryl Ligason. Nicky and Jim were playing together with Nicky's game. "We're going to the museum," Dad said. "Right now?" asked Jim. "I'll tell Mom first," said Dad. Nicky petted Tiger's fur and sighed. "I wish we could bring Tiger. He might like to go. But I guess museums are not for cats." "I think you're right," said Jim. Jim and Nicky got dressed to go to the museum. They didn't see Tiger sneak into Jim's backpack. Tiger hid right inside. Dad, Nicky, and Jim walked down the museum's halls. They looked at the bright paintings hanging high on the walls. Tiger looked out of Jim's backpack. They saw an apple pie and a lion that liked to lie in the shade. Tiger seemed to like the lion the best. Then Tiger saw a painting of a very big dog. It made him start to move around. He jumped out of Jim's backpack. "Tiger!" Nicky called. "Is that you?" Together, Nicky and Jim ran after Tiger. He gave one man a fright. Soon, everyone ran after Tiger. What a sight! Jim found him at last. Dad's face was red from running. "Tiger, it isn't right to sneak into a museum," he said. "You've been a bad kitty," said Jim. "But I bet you had fun." Lost in the Museum by Miriam Cohen. Illustrated by Lillian Hoban. "This is a big place," the teacher told the first grade. "But if we all stay together, nobody will get lost in the museum." Danny said to Jim, "I know where the dinosaur is. Come on, I'll show you." Jim had never seen a dinosaur. He ran after Danny, and Willie and Sammy. Paul and George did too. Anna Maria and Sarah started after them. "Come back! You'll get lost, they called. Danny slid down the hall very fast. He slid into a room at the end. Willie and Sammy, Paul, George, Jim, Anna Maria, and Sarah ran after him. But Jim stopped. He put his head way back. He looked up. Jim heard Willie say, "That is some big chicken." "It's the dinosaur," shouted Danny. Jim came around the corner. The dinosaur had his arms up over Jim's head. The dinosaur's teeth were smiling a fierce smile. Paul said, "Look out, Jim. He's going to get you." Jim turned and ran as fast as he could. "Jim, stop! I was only fooling," Paul called. The kids came running after Jim. "Don't worry. He won't hurt you," said Sammy. "That's right," Willie told Jim. "They don't have dinosaurs anymore." Paul put his arm around Jim. Anna Maria said, "It's silly to be scared." Jim knew it was silly. He wished he could be brave. "Come on, let's find the others," George said. "I think we are lost," said Sarah. "I know where to go," Danny said. They all hurried after him down the big hall. But there were too many rooms. "You got us lost," Anna Maria said to Danny. "My toe hurts," said George. "Maybe we will have to stay here all night," Paul said. Jim thought about staying all night with the dinosaur. "I will go find the teacher," he said. "You stay here in case she comes." Jim went into many rooms. He kept his eyes shut a little. If he saw the dinosaur, he could shut them tight. A big boy was looking at birds' eggs. Jim said, "Have you seen my teacher?" Before the big boy could answer, Jim saw a red coat way down the hall. Margaret had a red coat. Jim ran to see, but somebody else was wearing Margaret's coat. Jim was so tired. He had to find the teacher. He had to bring her back to the kids. He ran on. Jim saw penguins playing in the snow, like first graders. He saw a mother, father, and a child deer. The father stood with one foot in the air. Jim stopped to rest. The room was dark. At first, he couldn't see. Then, a great gray whale swam over his head. He winked at Jim as if he had something nice to tell him. Jim looked all the way to the whale's tail. A lady was there with many children. Jim, everybody called. Oh, Jim, we have been looking for you. The teacher said, where have you been? Where are the other children? I'll take you there, Jim said. Jim started back. He went past the penguins, past the deer. This way? No, that way. There they were, George, Willie, and Sammy, Anna Maria, Danny, Paul, and Sarah. When they saw their teacher, George and Sarah began to cry. She hugged them. If we had stayed together, this wouldn't have happened, she said. Willie and Sammy said, Jim was brave. He went to find you. Yes, the teacher said. Jim was very brave. But next time, remember, if we all stay together, nobody will get lost. They were so glad to be found. Everybody went to have lunch in the cafeteria. You could choose chicken and dumplings, crisp fried fish, or beef stew with 2 vegetables. But they all chose hot dogs.